Hi, this is Eric Sloof with another great training video. Welcome to the show, and I'm going to show you the impact of putting a memory limit on your virtual machine. So what's up? We have Windows 2008 64 bits virtual machine running on SSD storage. Cool, eh? But that's not very important. The virtual machine is equipped with 1 gigabyte of memory. So when I created the virtual machine, I assigned 1 gigabyte of memory to it. It's hosted on ESXL, this one, and this ESX server has plenty of memory free. When I'm going to the summary, you will see that it's filled up with 8 gigabyte of memory, and I'm only using 3.2 of it. So this virtual machine in question, Windows 2008, when I'm going to the settings of this virtual machine, it's configured with 1 gigabyte of memory, and at the resources tab, when I'm switching over to memory, you can see that it's unlimited. So it means that this virtual machine, if there is enough memory on the ESX host, can actually use 1 gigabyte of memory. So this is my VM client, a little tool which is able to take over the console of the virtual machine and power off and power on the virtual machine. And what you will see is that it's using around 380 megabytes of memory. When I'm switching over to my vSphere client and I'm going to the performance tab, I did some prior tests to make sure that this is going to be an awesome demo. So there's no ballooning right now, and the memory active in this virtual machine is around 1 gigabyte. I think, yeah, 1 gigabyte. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run a little utility, not a little tool, no, a little cool utility in this virtual machine. It's written by a VMware employee, and he did an awesome thing with this utility. So it's able to create a lot of stress in a virtual machine. I will put it on 700 MBs. I'm going to start a test, and this tool is claiming a lot of memory. You can actually see the memory rising quite rapidly right here, and the face is showing me if the virtual machine is happy or not. So after some time I think the face will become a little bit more happy, because it will actually show you how much megabytes you can read per second. But for now it's going through the roof. It's running at 1 gigabyte. Let's check in the vSphere client what's happening. Memory consumed. It's up 1 gigabyte, not 1 gigabyte, but it's up. Ballooning is still 0. Granted is 1 gigabyte, and active is going to rise also rapidly. So what's very important is that you will notice that ballooning is still 0, and I also fired up PuTTY, and you will see that memctl, the driver responsible in the virtual machine for the ballooning activity, is staying at a nice 0 MB. So what I actually see in a lot of companies is that people are rolling out or are creating virtual machines based on a template, and the template is configured with limited memory, and they are going to edit the virtual machine and they are going to assign more memory to it, but they forget to check out on the memory resources tab, and it's still limited. So the machine will actually see more memory, but when it tries to use the memory, it will be limited to the figure assigned in a limit, and it's forced to go to balloon the rest of the memory. I can show it to you when I'm limiting this virtual machine to 512 MB. The virtual machine will actually see 1 gigabyte, but it's only able to use 512 MB of the physical memory. So let's take a quick look at the virtual machine. It's looking happy now. Yeah, okay, 170 MBs per second, and I'm gonna put in the limit of 512 MB. I'm gonna hit OK, and let's see what will happen. So the virtual machine, when I'm going to the guest OS of this virtual machine, yeah, you will see that this virtual machine is actually configured with 1 gigabyte of memory, but the memory is not available anymore, or will be in a short period, because this virtual machine is limited to and it can only use 512 megabytes. So this phase is still looking happy, but you already see the figure decline to a lower value, and I think it's already experiencing some ballooning. So we can check it out in PuTTY. It's not experiencing ballooning right now. It's still, the ballooning activity is still at 0, but there is some ballooning activity going to rise. It's at 17 MB, but shortly it will rise. Let's check if there is already some ballooning activity right here. Yeah, it's an interval of every 20 seconds, so it will not show up that fast. But what I noticed is that it was looking unhappy. It's looking happy again. So the yellow marker is at 15 MB per second. So there it goes again. It's in the yellow part already, and it will take some time, but eventually the virtual machine will be forced to balloon some memory. You see already that there is a little bit ballooning activity right here. So let's take it a step further, and let's put this figure, let's stop the test, and let's put it on a nice 950 MB. And let's see what happens again. So a lot of extra memory is claimed. You see it hit nearly 0 right here, and it's rising again. So let's check out on this guy. You see that the figure is already rising, 127. We see at the vSphere client there is a lot of more ballooning activity right here. So this virtual machine, when I'm going back to the settings of this virtual machine, is configured with 1 GB of memory, but at the resources tab the memory is kept at 512. Let's put it on 300. Let's force some more ballooning activity. You see it rise right here, and you will immediately see that after a few minutes this figure is going to rise even higher, because it's only seeing it's seeing 1 GB, but it only can use 300 megabytes right now. It's still looking happy, okay, but you won't be in a few minutes. And what's the important part of this test? When you are creating a limit on a virtual machine regarding the memory, yeah, keep a close watch to it. I cannot imagine why you put a limit on a virtual machine. And when you are creating templates, don't even think about limits, because they will give you a lot of problems in the future. What you will see is an environment with lots of memory, like here on my ESX server. It has lots of memory, but still there is ballooning activity on your virtual machines, and nobody knows why. Now you do. Check the limits of your virtual machine, and you will notice that the virtual machine is limited to a number lower than actual the memory assigned to it. So here you see it. It's rising very high. It's going to the roof right now. Let's check on ESX stop. You can see it right here. So it's not happening immediately. The ballooning activity is a process running in your virtual machine, and it's part of the VMware tools, and it will take some time, but eventually your virtual machine will be living on ballooning activity, and it will become slower. So this figure is very low compared to the initial 300 we saw when I fired up the virtual machine. So be careful with putting memory limits on your virtual machine. See you next time. Have a nice day. Bye bye.